Humidity, wind, and storms can take a toll on your home. When they do, trust the team at Absolute Restoration for roofing, water damage, and mold remediation. 662-760-4348.
Room to Room's All-American Savings event is on. Store-wide savings on your furniture favorites. Score deep discounts on mattresses and 5 years special financing. Plus, you can take home a vacation for two with your purchase. Only at Room to Room Tupelo. Happy birthday, America.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 9.
Good Friday evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 9. I'm meteorologist Gabe Meaner, and you've probably seen a fair amount of us here at Mississippi Live Weather tonight. Probably not going to see much more of us beyond the 10 o'clock hour tonight because rain chances have finally moved. Not rain chances moved on out, but the severe weather chances have moved out of the area. Those rainfall totals over the past 2 days have been very significant. And we remember down there in Louisiana, 2 feet of rain. Additional chances today down there in South Mississippi, upping those totals to over a foot. But even here on the southern fringes of our coverage area, 3, 4, 5 inches possible. And yes, even out there in parts of Coahoma County, 4 inches. All of this to say, rainfall has been the story, flooding rainfall has been the story, and that's why we are currently under a state of emergency. The Governor Tate Reeves issuing that earlier on today. An update on that, of course, as the week goes on. But as cleanup crews are out and about and we're in the recovery process, that state of emergency is in place to help deploy those assets to where they need to go. Strong storms still possible tonight, but we're not necessarily talking severe weather, and that's the fortunate part. Rain chances sticking around through the weekend, though. Our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut going to be very busy as he tracks that out through both your Saturday and Sunday. The first 12, we can see those chances pretty minimal during those overnight hours. We're about 30% though during the pre-dawn hours of our Saturday, still sitting around 30% by 7 and 40% by 10. Even a few rumbles of thunder mixing in there as well, so these will have some punch to it, but luckily should stay below what we've gotten so far today. Even in Macon, an area where we were looking at plentiful, or definitely a good bit by 8 o'clock, now not looking nearly like what it was even a few minutes ago. Those storms moving towards the south and east, out of Noxubee County. And yeah, a few rumbles are possible, but the impactful weather should be clearing on out. Greenville, we're 73 degrees, an area that saw some rain chances moving through earlier on today. Now, not so much the case. We are pretty calm out there in Greenville to wrap up our Friday night. As we look up north in Clarksdale, another area where we were looking at some of the heavy rainfall and storms move on through. Currently 74 degrees, plenty of moisture up there, and that could result in some patchy fog getting into our Saturday morning. So looking at our rainfall totals, you can see a large part of that in North Mississippi was this band and cluster of storms that moved from Shelby over there towards Tallahatchie County, Calhoun County, eventually Webster County, with parts of Mabin dealing with some flooding issues, and then got into Noxubee County. Just stripe right here where we saw, about 5 inches of rainfall, 4 inches of rainfall, just between Shelby and Clarksdale. And as we look over there towards Grenada, 3.5, towards Yalobusha County, 2.2, Webster County, 4.1. So a pretty heavy rain producer as that moved across North Mississippi. But now what's left of it is this little batch of thunderstorms back there towards southeastern Noxubee County. Strikes down to 199. While that's still a good amount of lightning, it's well below what it was earlier on this evening as we were talking 2,500 strikes over the entire coverage area of North Mississippi. The frontal boundary has been the story, and that's been where these thunderstorms have been allowed to develop. That's the boundary we're monitoring, and that will continue to stick around overnight. You can see that just stationary right over the top of North Mississippi, keeping those rain chances around and even a few storms as well. High pressure just giving us a wave goodbye as it moves well north of our area and out of our area during those overnight hours. As we continue to look at that stationary front, going to be the story overnight and keeping those rain chances around as well. But I say it every time, what I love about the 10 o'clock hour or the 9 o'clock show is the fact that we get the latest model data together, and we're able to assess that with how it looks different from earlier on this evening. So already we see some of those storms moving southeast out of Noxubee County. Additional thunderstorm development, 3 a.m. if you're in Calhoun or Yalobusha County. Not impossible to hear a few rumbles of thunder, but are we talking about severe weather? I don't believe so with this setup overnight, but storms building out there towards Louisiana and Arkansas, those are going to be a little bit heftier, and even a few strong storms not impossible. Northern Louisiana, my apologies, up around 6 a.m., and that will continue to move through parts of Mississippi. You can see additional heavy rainfall down there towards Natchez, Macomb, Crystal Springs, an area that's already dealt with some significant flooding. Unfortunately, a possibility getting into our Saturday. Now that band of rainfall will be one to monitor as the stationary front looms overhead, and that's going to allow thunderstorms to develop by the afternoon and even maybe a strong storm or two as we go about those afternoon plans. That's something our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will be tracking into those afternoon hours. But we're really sitting around 30 to 40% coverage throughout the day with rumbles of thunder possible throughout the day with these rain chances. So have the rain gear ready. But don't be shocked if it's more mist than hit as we go about the day, as we're only talking 30 to 40% of the area throughout our Saturday being impacted. Temperature-wise, we're 70 degrees heading out the door, but by the afternoon, only topping out in the mid-80s, all of that thanks to some rain-cooled air. So there is a positive to all of this. Unfortunately, there is just the negative of having to dodge some more storms in our forecast. So coming up in the next 60, we're going to be talking in more detail about those storms this weekend using our exclusive Storm Finder. And we're also going to be talking about those latest flooding risks heading into our Saturday and into our Sunday as well. That, as Mississippi Live Weather at 9 continues right after the break.
At Vibe Aesthetics and Wellness, we believe confidence isn't just how you look, it's how you feel. From subtle, natural aesthetics to personalized wellness care, everything we do is intentional. This is beauty with purpose. At Vibe Men's Health, we take that same approach. We focus on what matters most: strength, energy, and performance. Built on real data, real medicine, and real results, we're here to help you look better, feel stronger, and live fully. Come vibe with us today.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Saturday, June 20th, TCB Fights is live in Tupelo, benefiting St. Jude. Plus, meet UFC Hall of Famer Don Fry. Get your tickets at memphiswrestling.tv.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
We're continuing to use our exclusive Mississippi Live Storm Finder to track out those rain chances into the weekend, and not only rain chances, but storm chances as well. Where you see those hues of purple, that's your storm chance. Where you see those lightning strikes, especially the red on the lightning strikes, that's where we're talking constant strikes and potentially some strong storms as well. So during those overnight hours, it's not impossible to get a rumble of thunder or two here in North Mississippi, but compare that to the environment out in Texas. Yeah, I mean, we're expecting the heftier storms to be out there, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, those building into the region during those overnight hours. But if you look at that line that develops during those overnight hours here in North Mississippi, that's going to continue to become more widespread by noontime, and that's where we're talking about some of these storms packing a punch with the heavy rainfall and constant lightning production. I mean, folks in Macon, folks in Starkville, folks in Mabin, you know exactly what I'm talking about with that constant lightning that we were seeing down there heading into those evening hours. Getting into the evening of our Saturday, 6 p.m., that thunderstorm development still out there towards Arkansas and Louisiana, but additional development building in by our Sunday. Now, those primarily going to be Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. But getting into our afternoon here in North Mississippi on Sunday, that's where we could be tracking additional thunderstorm development. And you can see constant strikes on an impossibility once again as our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut gets into his 6 o'clock broadcast on our Sunday. You also see those rain chances and storm chances climbing because of the brighter purples that are showing up, indicating a higher likelihood of thunderstorm development. And yes, probably going to have to dodge a few of those during those Sunday plans. Monday, additional rain chances, additional storm chances, and out towards the Texas and Oklahoma area, seeing some pretty decent chances of storms. But here in North Mississippi, we're going to be spotty once again. And that's really the story getting into the rest of our work week is spotty storms sticking around. We're 30 to 40% coverage every single day next week, with the lone exception being Friday as we wrap up the work week sitting at 20%. But nonetheless, it's enough to keep the rain gear around, but there will be spots that will reach the end of the week and be disappointed at their rainfall output because it's really just hit or miss showers. So a few areas going to be missing it and going to be not seeing as much as other locations. As we look in Caledonia tonight, an area that saw a few of those storms and showers move through earlier on this evening, now looking like a calmer environment, not any lightning output as those storms have shifted off towards the south, but that's really what we're watching is further towards the south for that, what's left of that development. Even up in Pontotoc, a much calmer environment, even seeing a few breaks in the clouds, but 81 degrees by 9 o'clock shows that warm air that's still sticking around during those overnight hours. Kosciuszko, we're 70 degrees, feels like 64. That's the rain-cooled air that we get to enjoy. And for a large part of North Mississippi, that is the story. Now, as we look out there towards Caledonia, even a few sprinkles, light to moderate showers in the area, but the heaviest portions back towards the south and east parts of Noxubee County. Let's go ahead and zoom things out. Let me bring it back to our regular Mama Justice Doppler radar and focus specifically on our area. And it does seem like I'll have to put lightning back on. We're down to 127 strikes. At the top of the broadcast 10 minutes ago, it was at 199. So that is starting to come down even more as these storms start to just move on out and dissipate out overnight. I mean, what did we talk about? We said when the daytime heating goes away, the storms will start to weaken. Seeing exactly that so far tonight. And grateful that that's the case. But down towards the south, let me go ahead and swap it over to our Jackson radar site. Now, if you know anyone along the coastal regions of Mississippi or even down here close to Jackson and Laurel and Hattiesburg, that's where we're seeing heavy downpours and, yes, some flash flooding possibilities. Let's look specifically in Hattiesburg. That's an area where we have a flash flood warning. Even down here towards Wiggins, a flash flood warning. Those areas seeing just in the past 3 hours about 2 to maybe 3 or 4 inches over a very short time frame, and that's an area that saw 12 inches yesterday. So flash flooding, once again, a concern, and we do have a camera down there in Hattiesburg that will give us a visual on this, but unfortunately, we're dealing with it once again. Just can't get away from the flooding rainfall, and you're seeing down in Hattiesburg with the torrential downpour, the blinding rainfall, unfortunately adding to those rainfall totals, and as we track that out into our weekend, unfortunately, that's probably going to be reaching, I'm not going to say close to 2 feet, but I mean, we already saw it in Louisiana, that they've reached 2 feet, and we're going to be close to about 20 inches potentially getting into our forecast tomorrow. And our meteorologist, Caleb Edelblut, he'll have the latest on those totals. 10% by 11, 20% by 10, and 30% by 5 a.m. So even though those rain chances dissipate out overnight, pre-dawn on our Saturday could see a few more of those chances rolling in. That stationary front overhead is the big weather maker for those additional rain chances. And yeah, there's your sprinkles overnight. There's a few moderate showers there towards Eudora and Greenville. But really what we're getting along this line is going to be maybe a brief heavy downpour, but that's really it. Light to moderate showers, remaining more scattered in nature, and as this frontal boundary shifts south, we'll take the bulk of the rain chances south as well. We're 69 degrees Oxford and New Albany, 72 Greenwood, 73 Cleveland, and 68 Iuka and Boonville to start out your Saturday. Take the moisture out of the equation, feels a little bit better heading out on those morning commutes. 74 degrees by 8, 84 by noon, and 85 by the afternoon. Those rain chances sticking around 30 to 40% throughout the day, so there will be a few locations able to get out to the pool. And as we look at that pool day forecast brought to you by the folks there at IMPC, UV index going to be higher as well as those rain chances are a little bit more missed than hit. As we continue through our futurecast, Saturday becoming more widespread as the morning goes on. But again, the boundary is what's providing these rain chances. And with that boundary being shifted a little bit more south, that's where these rain chances go south of Highway 82, where we're getting those heavy downpours and going to add to some of those rainfall totals once again. As we move further north by the afternoon, those become a little bit more broken, not exactly a consistent line across the region, but it is still going to keep rain chances in the forecast even by afternoon and evening hours of our Saturday. Some brief heavy downpours still possible, but nonetheless, the flash flooding threat still going to be south of Highway 82. That's the phrase of the week, south of Highway 82, because that's always the area that we've been talking about here in North Mississippi as a primary focal point for impacts. And for our Saturday, that is once again the story. High temperatures pretty consistent across the board. We're mid-80s across North Mississippi, including 86 Tupelo, 85 Grenada, and 86 Tunica. Heat indice is jumping into the 90s, but I will say not overwhelming for this time of year. And as we approach those final days of spring, not a bad ending when we're talking temperature-wise. But it is all thanks to that rain-cooled air and that cloud cover keeping those temperatures and feels-like values at bay. As we go into our Saturday night, Sunday morning, you can see those rain chances real isolated, and even that might be overstating how much coverage these showers and storms will have. Our Sunday morning heading out the door, still seeing mostly dry conditions, those partly cloudy skies, but rain chances build in by the afternoon as we saw on Storm Finder just a moment ago. 71 Oxford and Holly Springs, 70 Boonville and Iuka, 72 Golden Triangle, and 73 Belzona and Greenwood. As the morning continues on, those rain chances start to climb once again, and that's what we'll see on Futurecast. Getting into those Sunday morning commutes, staying dry for now, but by the afternoon, that's where we expect some rain chances to start to build into the area as we mix in the daytime heating and a little bit more of that unstable air. I mean, coverage is not intense. That's why of the 2 days, Saturday is a better chance of seeing rainfall, but those do start to increase in coverage a little bit more by Sunday afternoon. Still focused down there towards the Golden Triangle, but it could be a little bit spread out to other locations. So don't focus on that specific pinpoint accuracy. Our models this time of year always putting a new location into where those showers and storms will go. So we'll assess the very latest once we get closer, but at least showing the possibility of a few pop-up showers for our Sunday. Our flash flooding threat, level 1 threat for all of North Mississippi by Sunday. That could very well be trimmed back depending on how our HRRR model interacts with some of those rain chances Sunday afternoon, evening, and overnight. So monitoring that, and we'll have updates on that as needed. But Saturday, once again, the golden opportunity for rainfall through the weekend and when we'll need our rain gear the most. 89 degrees Tupelo, Houston, and Amory. 85 Red Bay, Alabama. 88 Tunica, South Haven, and 90 showing up Belzona and Greenville. Those feels like values taking it well into the triple digits out there in the Mississippi Delta. So we're not full-blown heat advisory threshold yet, but we're getting closer as we go into the, I guess this would be the, let me make sure. Today's the 19th. Yeah, Sunday's your first day of summer. There you go. So as we look at our Sunday night, we continue to stay dry for the start of the night, but by the early morning hours, start to see those next chances roll in. That's going to be a frontal boundary that pushes into North Mississippi, giving us scattered chances of rainfall, but not seeing anything that stands out as severe or strong. This is going to be a light to moderate rainfall that's moving into North Mississippi. Now, this front does become more stationary, and as we get into our Tuesday morning, you can see those rain chances continuing to linger around, even into our Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, some isolated chances into our work week, and yeah, just continuing into the evening as well. So rain chances don't fully move out of the area. That's what I want the big headline to be tonight. But there will be some breaks. There will be some dry windows of opportunity that we get to enjoy, especially going into our Sunday, and even some isolated chances early in the week where we just get to get out and enjoy some time outside. That's why I encourage you, have the Mama Justice Doppler radar ready to go, and you will be all set and good to go, because it'll let you know whenever things are headed your direction. The Mississippi Live Weather app doing a great job of keeping folks updated, posted, and safe. As we head further into the night, make sure to download that Mississippi Live Weather app for the very latest, free and available on iOS and Android. Like, subscribe, follow on all of our social medias, and we appreciate all of you guys that have done that so far and just made Mississippi Live Weather what it is. Our next broadcast happening at 6, 9, and 10 with our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut on your Saturday. But don't miss out. Our 10 o'clock broadcast tonight still happening. We're looking ahead to those weekend rain chances and those potential impacts, all right here from the Room to Room Weather Center. So keep it here for the very latest.
Every legend starts somewhere.
Not with perfection, but with the decision.
The decision to show up, work harder, and believe this place can change everything.
At Northeast, you're more than just a number.
We're built on opportunity, and our students are willing to rise to the occasion.
Here, success isn't handed to you. It's earned.
You don't just leave with a degree, you leave as a legend.